Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast. We've got a great guest today. It's Chris Long. You know him from his time with the Patriots in 2016. Also was with the Eagles in 17 and 18. He's been retired for 4 years. A former second overall pick. Here's the bio for Chris, brought to you by Shaw's. They've been perfecting the art of fresh. Chris, a tremendous guy. His Greenlight podcast is outstanding, and he's a great philanthropist, too, with the Waterboys. Check out waterboys.org. We're going to talk about that a little bit and a lot more, so enjoy it. Chris Long coming at you. And there he is. It's the ruddily handsome host of the Greenlight Pod. One of the most handsome guys who's gone through the league in the last 15 years, easily.
Yes, Tom. Yes. Yes, Tom.
One
of the most handsome guys maybe on the New England team, although I don't think the most handsome guy. There was a lot of studs on that team.
Jimmy was
Tom
still
Brady,
there.
Dola, Edelman, I guess. Jimmy G. Yeah, Melting Hearts. Yeah, I'm like
you were like sixth or seventh.
I was off the bench on that team.
Yeah, I think Marty. I think Marty B had you beat too.
Marty B, you there, Marty B?
He's handsome.
Oh, hey, yeah. Well, I'm not. That's my dude, man. I love Marty B.
Hightower is a good-looking individual.
I just was texting with Hightower the other day, man. Miss that dude. Love High.
Good human.
Great human.
You've been out for 4 years, huh?
That's crazy.
Is there any itch left?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
Really?
I mean, like, I think about it time to time, but, it ain't happening. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, the first year or two, when I was thinking about it, like, there were real opportunities to come back. But, now you're 4 years out. It's like, nah. Your brain as a football player, it's so hard to unwire it,
I played into my junior year of high school. And so we're not talking about a legendary career. Every year when the crabgrass gets cut in August, I still think of captain's practice in football. That smell of the hot and the steam rising off the grass, like, it still smells like football.
I miss doing a tough thing. I mean, like, this is tough and everything, like, launching this podcast and, trying to hone my skills doing this. But, the real grind of it was fun, man. Like, I used to love, staying late and, trying to get an edge. And I don't know, every week that gun to your head feeling like you got to get ready for Sunday and you have to get your body back and you need to do, like, that's how you're wired over a span of 2 decades of doing football. Like, whether it's, high school to college and then, the pros. For me, it was 11 years, but it, definitely wires you differently. And so you kind of got to unwire that. Like, when you retire, you got to be okay with waking up and be like, nothing's going to be that hard today.
Yeah, I love that. I miss doing a tough thing because you have sought out tough things to do.
Yeah.
Everest, correct?
No, my wife said
Matterhorn.
No Everest. So I've done Killy, but like I've done Killy a bunch for our charity, but like I did it with Ninko. Ninko, I don't think shares the same sentiment as me on hard things. He was like, I had him in a tent because he was my tent mate going up that mountain, and the first night he was like, I've never slept outside. Ninko is.
That's the talk,
neurotic. And I was like, well, you're going to be okay. Like, I'm actually shocked you never went camping or anything in the backyard. But no, I mean, like, I've done some hard things, I guess, but like, it's just more that competitive nature that, spinning the wheel, seeing if you can make a play this week, seeing if you could, like the crowd, the whole thing, man. It just, it was cool. When you're in it, you don't realize how hard it is, what you're doing, because it's just what you're doing. But then when you get away from it a while, you're like, man, we were crazy.
100%. I mean, you look, I know you know Kay Adams a little bit. She did just talking about crazy. She had DK Metcalf on yesterday. And DK Metcalf had to leave, I'm sure you know this, the field on a cart to go poop.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And Pete wanted him to poop on the sideline because Izzo did.
Oh, Izzo did. Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Izzo was a sideline pooper back at some point.
That's sick.
Career.
Isn't that crazy? That not only you're out there getting in a bunch of car accidents, but you're like, nah, like you got to shit right here. Sorry.
That's okay. We take care of that. But it's primitive. You got to
poop right here.
I mean, when we talk about the gladiator stuff and they're modern day gladiator, they are. It's primitive. Thumbs up, thumbs down, every play.
Very primitive. It's very primitive. And also it's like high level too at the same time because like playing in New England, that was now Greg Williams' defense was a little complicated, but learning the New England defense was a huge challenge. It's like a big math problem you got to solve. And so I mean, like, you don't realize how highly skilled you were. You don't realize how violent the sport was, how great shape you're in. Like when you stop playing and you try to stay in shape, you realize how hard it is to get like a couple workouts in during a work week. And just, you're like, man, I was never out of shape for a period of 18 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's just a crazy realization. And it's automatic to you because you never let yourself, fall past the level. But you realize how hard once you get out it was to stay at that level. So I definitely appreciate what we were able to accomplish as players. And when I watch these guys, I marvel even more so now because I'm like, it was like there was one game, Tom, where I was hurt in St. Louis. My first game that I was hurt and I was on the sideline and I went to watch. I traveled with the team because I was a captain. So I went up to Minneapolis to watch us play the Vikings. And I stood on the sideline with no pads on. And I can remember watching Teddy Bridgewater get hit on the sideline and saying like, oh my God, like this is the most violent sport. It's insane that I'm doing this. And it took like removing myself from the situation, standing there in street clothes to realize it. But yeah, we were crazy, man. So yeah, and these guys, they deserve a lot of credit, man.
They do. And when it does end, it's got to be so, I mean, Belichick always talks about with, the season, it's like a treadmill stops while you're jogging on it.
Yeah.
With this, it's your life. It happens that way. Fortunately, you went full immersion with the Green Light Pod and the Waterboys too. And I want to highlight that because you've done a lot. You were 2018 Walter Payton Man of the Year, but just to re-highlight what the Waterboys is all about. You went to Tanzania.
Yeah.
When did you do that? And how did you come back with this commitment of I'm gonna create something here that's not present to help people?
Yeah, no question. So I went to Tanzania. I mean, like maybe it was 2012, I think, or it was the winter of 2013. It was after the season. And I went to climb Kili with a teammate, James Hall, who played in Detroit for a long time. I don't know if you remember him, but he was a real good player. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, found his self in Detroit and then St. Louis. But we went to, he was like kind of my vet, and I dragged him over to do this Kilimanjaro climb, which is a big mountain. It's like 19,341 feet. So it's like real deal. It's not like you need to do anything technical. It's not like I'm like skilled I'm not a skilled mountaineer, but like, it's a tough climb. And I wanted to do something outside my comfort zone. And Jeff Fisher wasn't too crazy about it. Cause like, that's actually where the first time I met Jeff Fisher, I was in his office. I was like one of his guys. He was just about to extend me. And or maybe he already had, and I'm looking at the picture on his desk, and it's of him climbing a mountain. I'm like, where's that? He's like, Kilimanjaro. I'm like, I'd like to try that. He's like, yeah, after you retire. And I was like, no, I want to do it in the off season. And he's like, okay. So I go and do it, and we have a great time, and we come down the mountain, and I'm in a bar, and I've told this story a lot, so stop me if you've heard it.
No, bring it, because there's going to be people listening who haven't.
Yeah, you're right. So we're at the bar and we're celebrating, and the beers are hitting hard because like we've been at altitude for a week. So I might be hallucinating. I'm thinking when I hear somebody call my name and somebody's like walks in and they're like, hey, Chris. And I'm like, no, I'm in Tanzania. I'm in East Africa. It took me a day to get here. There's no way I know somebody here. And it's Joe Buck. Joe Buck.
No way.
Yeah, Joe Buck is legitimately just in the same bar I'm in Tanzania. And I'm like, because he's a St. Louis guy, right? So I'm playing in St. Louis. He worked with my dad. I knew him in St. Louis. The first guy took me out to dinner when I went to St. Louis, down in Clayton at one of those restaurants down there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what the hell are you doing here? I'm like, I'm climbing Kili. He goes, me too. I came over on a water project. So we're going on this water project tomorrow. Let me know if you want to join us. And our flight left too early. But they kind of bent my ear on, what that stuff was all about. And as a pragmatist, I kind of like looked into it and said, hey, I don't have a foundation. I've had an awesome time here. I definitely saw the disparity and kind of the things we take for granted and the way of life in a place like Tanzania, which includes but is not limited to access to water, like as far as issues are concerned. And I said, hey, I'm really into this water thing. Like, I feel like you can change the world. It's a very functional solution to implement a clean water solution in somewhere in Tanzania, because, you know, not only are less people dying unnecessarily from waterborne illness, there's kids that are attending school at a higher rate because kids are missing school because of waterborne illness. Women and girls aren't being shouldered with a burden to go gather this water. You know, commerce is stunted, the whole thing, like agriculture. So to me, it was like, this is this intersection of so many problems, and there's an easy way to fix it. It's just get these people water. And you know how far your dollar's going. Like, research causes are great and everything, but I really like to know, hey, if I give $5, this is how many people are gonna benefit. So I started Waterboys, and you know, like, gosh, almost 10 years later, I guess, we've provided over 500,000 people with clean water, and we've done over 100 large solar powered wells, and we also do stuff domestically, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
You look at Flint, for instance.
Yeah.
And that came to the forefront. And we're talking about Tanzania, and it's mind-blowing to see issues in urban
Jackson,
America.
Baltimore, you know, like we do a lot of rural projects, because like the way we're scaled, you know, a lot of people like are like, hey, Flint's happening or Jackson's happening. And it's like, dude, we're just not scaled to help in Jackson. Like, we can't go down to Jackson and plop a well down. Like, similar problem in that, like, people don't have access to clean water, but a different root cause.
Yep.
You know, it's the government needs to get it together and take care of these issues. And the funding is, I mean, like, it's going to cost monopoly money to fix, you know, Flint or Jackson, or like it's one decision in Flint. You know, it's like, hey, you know, we're not going to do this one thing with the pipes. We're going to cut a corner here, and then look what happens. So, you know, like, we can't solve those problems. What we can do is like help many of the 2 million people living in the United States, especially in rural areas, that don't have access to clean water. We do a lot of well work in places like Suffolk, Virginia, or Texas, or North Carolina. Like, and I think what's eye-opening about it is, like, these are these families that they look like on the surface they're living the American dream. You know, you got a job, you got 3 kids, you got a house, like the whole thing, but you can't afford to fix your well. And so kids are drinking out of water bottles, and they're showering, you know, under a hose or something. And like, we went to a house recently in Virginia where the water was like red. You know what I mean? There's so much iron in the water.
Yep.
So we're working on Navajo Nation. Like, imagine during the pandemic being on Navajo Nation, not even having running water in your house, as many people don't in that region, and being told to wash your hands, you know, like, keep your hands clean. Like, I don't even have a sink that works. You know what I mean? So the disparity in how we're living in this country, and some of our neighbors, not only at home but abroad, are living, like, when it comes to access to water, is crazy. So, you know, for us, I was like an easy thing for me to hang my hat on, and we've done some good work.
Are there things that we could do locally aside from donating?
Yeah. You know, it's tough because people always ask me about volunteer work. Like, a lot of people are like, yo, I'll go to Africa with you. And
I know.
And I'm like, yeah, well, you know, the great thing is the way we look at things is we have partners that are boots on the ground. Like, we certainly put in the work, right? Like, I put in a lot of work on this foundation weekly. But, you know, we have, like, whether it's Xylem at home or it's World Serve International abroad, like, we're the megaphone, and those folks are the people that drill the wells, you know, and scope out sites, and, you know, kind of like whether it's a geologist trying to find groundwater in Tanzania or somebody who's eyeballing a well here domestically, there's always somebody that, like, that's what they do.
Yeah. So we're not going to go there and stand next to the geologist and say,
no. The best thing, though, that people can do is it's educate themselves on the problem at hand domestically, educate themselves on the problem at hand internationally. Don't take it for granted, and spread the word, because you never know. Like, if you're listening to this and you tell somebody about, oh, look what Waterboys is doing, you can check us out at waterboys.org or chrislongfoundation.org. Like, if you tell somebody that game of telephone might result in a $1 million donation, you know, like that's the way I look at things. So like word of mouth is so valuable. People ask how you want to help, like tell your friends with means, you know, and educate them on the problem. And you know, I think we bring veterans over to climb Killy every year, and retired athletes. I alluded to Ninko coming over there, and we've had amputees climb. I had my buddy Ivan, he's blind. He summited. We had Haloti Nada retire at the top. Bo Allen got up there, you know, so like it's when people go over there for that trip, they fall in love with like the whole experience. But what they do is like we'll go to a school, Tom, and some, you know, like there's a couple hundred kids at this primary school, like almost 1,000 kids at this primary school outside of Arusha, which is a town that, like, you know, you have access to services and that sort of thing. But I have this Marine, Elliot Ruiz, who's a good buddy of mine. Met him through Conquering Kelly. He's a Eagles fan, and he's a Philly guy. And these guys have been, and gals have been all over the world. They've seen the toughest stuff, right? And I remember climbing down this ravine to get water, or to watch the kids gather water for their school day. And they're scooping water out of a creek, and the creek is covered in gasoline film, and there's trash in the water. They're drinking that water every day because they don't have access to clean water. So we give them a well and things change, right? Like, but seeing the look on Elliot's face, seeing the look on some of those Marines' faces that have seen some, you know what now, like, and seeing him well up a little bit, like that told me, that speaks volumes. Like, just, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words for sure. But like, until you go over there and you see the scale of the problem and just how bad it can be for some people, you don't realize it. And so that's the hardest, the barrier to entry for me, like with the international work, is people don't get to see it.
Yeah. Well,
and it's hard.
And it's funny because I imagine you can go one of two ways. You can see it and look at it and say, wow, it's a helpless feeling. Where do I start? Or you can say, well, I'm going to figure something out.
That's it. That's it. Like, yeah, that's it.
Endless credit to you for doing that. And
thank you. Yeah.
Let's talk offline. Maybe we can do a nice karaoke and raise some money.
Hell yeah.
Everybody does sing. Tournament. Do you like Warren Zevon?
Not particularly, but my producer's nodding his head.
Okay, good.
And two of them, they're both nodding their heads.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're out on him.
I'm not out. I can't pretend to be a big fan. You know, I'd be poser.
I will work on that. Yeah. Maybe I'll summit Kilimanjaro and just make
okay.
You had
better than listening to Queen late at night on max volume with on Summit night. I couldn't go to sleep because Ninko's just blasting Queen live. He's having a panic attack because he's afraid to summit the It's so ridiculous, dude.
So he went to Fat Bottom Girls as his inspiring music?
No, it was one of the more depressing ballads because I think he thought he was going to die that night. It's like, yeah, Ninko's, he's a hell of a tent mate.
That's great.
Yeah.
It must have been a big tent. One season in New England.
Yeah.
One word to describe it.
Impactful. I mean, so impactful to me in my career and in my life. It was a challenge for me. Like it was a challenge. Like, number one, the first thing is like great teammates, lifelong friends, Slater, you know, who's on my board for everything we were just talking about. Like he's like showing up for board meetings in the middle of the season. He's amazing. You know, Jules, Ninko, the guys I'm talking about, Dola, who I already knew, but like Bill, like, you know, learning football from Bill Belichick was, I mean, it's such a blessing. And like somebody who was so cool about the way it ended too. I mean, not that he cared that I was leaving, but like, you know, it was a business. It was like, hey man, I want to go over here. And you know, I need to like, no hard feelings. Like the defense isn't the best thing for me at 33, 34 years old. I want to keep playing. And he was so cool. Like he was just, you know, obviously because it's not like Dante Hightower was walking out of the building, but he didn't hold a grudge, like nothing like that. Like we still text from time to time. Steve came on the show recently.
He was great too.
He was awesome. I got a lot of love for a lot of those folks in that building. And it was a challenge because like I said, like I was coming off of, like I was the guy in St. Louis for a while, like, you know, and then I got hurt and all of a sudden you're washed, you know, like I got hurt 2 years in a row and I'm washed. I'm on IR a bunch. and I wash up on the right beach, right, in New England, because, you know, half of it for me was I've never won. I just want to pick a place that I can have an opportunity to win. It came down to Atlanta and New England in free agency, no BS.
Really?
And I picked
Dan
New England.
Quinn or here?
Say again.
Right? It was the Dan Quinn defense or Bill.
That's what it was. But, you know, for me, it was like Atlanta was not supposed to be what y'all were, what we were, right? So for me, Atlanta would have been a scheme fit decision. Yep. And like, that's what I was kind of, you know, making that decision based off. Was like, do I want to revive my career right away? Like, or do I want to win? And, you know, like in Atlanta, they wanted me to kind of play that Michael Bennett role. That's the way Dan pitched it to me. And I was like, ironically, I was like, I don't really want to play inside. I think I'll play in New England. And then like 3 weeks into the season in New England, I don't know if it was because Jamie Collins got moved or what, but like I got moved and the defense kind of changed. We were playing a lot of like 4-3. And my first couple games, like, you know, game ball, balling out, like they're like, oh, this guy's going to be here a while. And then, you know, the season kind of shifted and I started playing inside and Trey Flowers came on and now I'm kind of rotating in with him and he's starting. And so like, it was a challenge for me to kind of find my footing, but not to mention becoming just a sub package guy in the playoffs. Like for me, there were just a lot of challenges and, you know, down to the first half of the Atlanta game, we're not in sub once. So I'm like, damn, not only am I going to like all this time, I'm going to get blown out in the Super Bowl. I'm never going to want to play football again. And I'm not even going to like make any plays, which sucks, you know, because you've been waiting your whole life.
Yeah.
And then the second half, we got in sub a lot and we got to get after Matt and it just, everything worked out. It was just such an amazing year. And it was a clean break, man. It was just like, hey, I got to do this and you guys will definitely be fine. And
well, you're very, I don't know. You probably read that Ryan Holiday stuff. Obstacle is the way of the stoicism. I don't know. Maybe you haven't. But,
no, I haven't, but I do like
it. Love it. Bill loved it. Yeah. I'll fire that stuff off to you. Too. But you know, if you don't get urgent, if you don't get panicky, if you let things play out, maybe they will end up okay.
Yeah.
You know, don't let your ego get hurt.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's easier said than done when you have a finite amount of time in a career, an NFL career.
That's the hard thing. Cause you're like, you know, I'm killing myself out here. You know, you're like, I know
one shot, baby.
I don't have a lot of mileage left. I'm in there in a 3 technique. I'm 260, you know, and I'm willing to do the dirty work. Like I'm happy to do it. But yeah, there were times in that season where I was like, damn, dude, like this just isn't working out, is it? You know, like we've got a great shot and I might get a ring out of this, but I'm just not, I'm out of position and I didn't like it. I didn't like some people thinking I had lost it. You know what I mean? Because they're just not seeing me have 8-10 sacks or, you know, it just it was a challenge. But then going to Philly, like I got to play more like what I did in St. Louis. So everything worked out. Like
100%.
It just worked out. And
the way it went in Philly too just seemed like, look, and I know people up here get uptight because the Philly fun.
Yeah, Lane opened his mouth. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I think he was on Pardon My Take. This is the funniest thing about the whole thing. Like, Pardon My Take is a joke show, right? They tell a lot of jokes, right? And especially in that era, like, they were really baiting people to just say whatever. And they still kind of do it. And they're funny and they're good at it. But, like, Lane kind of got walked into that, I feel like. And it just stuck. And, of course, everybody was like, oh, Lane's best buddy's Chris. Chris is the one who said it. And that always bothered the hell out of me because all I've ever said is positives about New England and my teammates there. And like, we did have fun. I put on a Jules mask. We were drunk as hell at the parade. Like we would enjoy the plane rides. Bill let us sit in first class, which was awesome. Like other coaches never did that. I always complain about that. We had a tight knit group. And it was awesome, man. Like the locker room was great. So I hated being misrepresented by association with that thing because I did have fun up there. The only reason I didn't stay is because we were running a defense that just wasn't the best for me, and I was old. And so that was it.
Don't need to be pummeling a 33-year-old into sawdust.
Sawdust, man. Hey, sawdust.
You got mountains to climb. This is the best part of the program right now. It's irrelevant questions.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let you loose. First question: what's your biggest phobia? I'll give you some options. You want some
Snakes.
options?
I mean,
Okay.
like snake, like a
shit.
pit of snakes. No, the open ocean. Like that movie, Deep Water or
Open
whatever,
ocean's just
where
horrible.
people are just out there. They're just like, there's no boat. They're in the middle of the Pacific. Like, I'm not going to survive that. Not because I can't swim, because I'm going to choose not to swim. Like, if I find myself out, I'm just going to sink, because that's so terrifying to me. Being the ocean up there
Grab
in New
this
England.
board. Nope.
Y'all got great white sharks. Cape Cod, it's beautiful. Go get in the water. Okay.
Right.
There's a shark in there, dude. Okay. No.
All right. So we'll go with open water and fish. I don't know why it occurred as fish, open water and snakes. You know what occurred to me as you were talking? I don't know why. I can't watch eye surgery.
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. I was just thinking of things that I hate to look at and think of it, and then just eye surgery popped into my head. And just if it pops up on TV and those pimple popping shows, I spent a lot of time in front of the mirror shooting stuff out. I cannot watch those pimple popping shows.
I love to watch people pop pimples. I'm like, man, I wish I had one like that to pop right now. That looks so satisfying, man.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's good to you're fixing something on the body. But
you wouldn't like this. I had a phobia of going under, actually. This is a good intersection here. I had a phobia of going under and getting surgery.
Oh.
So, like, my first couple surgeries, I had, like, hand surgeries. I had, like, a fusion and some stuff. But I asked for them to keep me awake and just drug me heavily. And so I watched 2 hand surgeries. I don't remember it well. But, yeah, like, I didn't like going – because you're like, man, wouldn't that be something? I'd hate to go out like that. You just – they're like, you'll be out in an hour, and the next thing you know, you're like in heaven. That sounds.
This is perfect for my next question, because did you ever have a moment of, this is interesting, I might die here?
Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those. And, well, yeah. I'll tell you one. I was rafting on the New River in West Virginia, and we tried to surf this rapid, which is like you go back up, and it's like class 4 or 5. I don't know. My producer knows better than me. It's 4 or 5, right, Reed? It's 4 or 5. And we go back surfing, and we get dumped. And I got sucked into a hole, and like I was under there because they take video. Like some of these holes on that river are like really deep. And I timed it. I think I was down there 9 seconds. Like not like 7, 8, 9 seconds, but it felt like 35 seconds. And I had a conversation with myself and like fast forward, because that's how it goes in those situations. I was like, I kept swimming up, like just up, and it was like I wasn't getting to the top, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die here. It was and then I'm up to the top, and I'm like, oh, you're being dramatic. But they take videos, like you can take a video home. So we timed it. I was like, damn, I was down there a while. That was my closest near-death experience. I think the other ones, you don't even know you were close, right? You've done a bunch of stupid stuff that you got away with, and you had no idea that you were this close. I think I've got plenty of those, but that one sticks out in my head.
I don't blame you. What's the worst bike accident? Now, I'm not talking about,
I got one.
The little kid bike accident.
Oh, I was talking about an adult one. My freshman year, my sophomore year, I was there were a lot of stitches in my house as a kid, but this is in college. I was drinking, and I didn't want to drink and drive, and there was a young lady that I wanted to see across campus, and I got on my bike after a few Mad Dog 2020s, and I get going down the hill, and I get the death wobble, and I just wreck, like face first over the handlebars in front of people.
Sure.
Like here I am, this football player at Virginia, and I get to the young lady's room, and nothing happens. She just patches me up with her first aid kit. So I was bleeding and the whole thing. But I had a bike accident.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Now I have to relate mine, even though you didn't ask. There was a Silver Lake Junior High School on the Kingston-Pembroke line in Massachusetts. I was with my brother and his friends. They were a couple years older, and I didn't get to hang with them. Usually I had this big-ass hand-me-down 10-speed, just a horrible bike for a little kid. And we're all coming back from the Country Corner store, and flying down. We're going to go to the basketball court and play basketball. And we're kind of just racing. And everyone stops, and I didn't know why they stopped. And I kept going because I was going to drive right across the basketball court. I get 4 feet away, and there's one of those thick wires so that nobody rides on the court. And I didn't really realize that. And I tried to abort. So I kind of skidded, fell, went flipping over. And, when you're the 11-year-old hanging with your 14-year-old brother and his friends, no one's coming down to see if you're okay. They're just crying, laughing.
No, it's not like a Bryson DeChambeau situation. You remember when he was walking through that wire? You probably took it a lot better than he did. Everybody was like, "Oh, Bryson, are you okay?" Like it's
the best
wire,
with the towel grab. The towel grab made it.
You're not 11-year-old Tommy going 30 miles an hour.
And I was Tommy. Did you see Tommy? Did you see Tag Along Tom? Yeah, he went flying. All right. This is very easy. I saw you had on your show the other day, you had a conversation about what to do when the lights are out at somebody's house, whether or not you go to the door for Halloween. And here's that clip.
That's the question. Is it a code break to force going up to someone's house when you see all the lights off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, what if I see that you're inside, but your front porch, like, is not inviting? Or I can see kind of lights inside.
You can stand out there all night with your kids. You're not going to be able to guilt trip me.
But a lot of people have Ring doorbells now, so I can ring the doorbell. It's going to your phone like, hello.
I don't have a Ring doorbell. We'll play the waiting game. How late can your kids stay up? You want some candy? How late can your kids stay awake?
He'll be waiting for you to leave for work in the morning.
Good.
This is fun. Sarah Mitchell in our office thought of this the other day. It's NFL coaches and their Halloween candy or approach. This is the last portion of the program. Bill Belichick, what is his approach, or which candy is he giving out?
I think Bill, remember when Bill went to the Halloween party?
Yep.
And he was roller skating around. I think he likes dressing up. So I think if Bill had time and was actually doing it, I think he would be into it. I think he'd be standing at the door dressed as a pirate or something.
SpongeBob?
Yeah, or SpongeBob or something. And he would have candy and he'd be into it. And he'd give good candy out. I think he'd give good candy out. I really think he'd be he might give out the king size candy.
There was speculation he might be a lights out guy.
Oh, I don't know about a lights out guy. I think Bill, you have to take everything in context of right now. Maybe he's a lights out guy, if you after that Bears game or something, he might want to be a lights out guy. But if Bill wasn't a football coach or Bill retired at some point, and I hope he never does, I think he'd be a really good house to hit.
I mean, what am I going to do? Stand out there with juice
What do you want? King size candy. Next house. No, he's I think he'd be really nice, dude. I think he'd be a great house to hit. Maybe a hot take.
All right, no, I like it. Brian Daboll.
Oh, he would be slamming beers on the porch.
I love that costume.
Yeah. He'd be. I went to buy this house the other night with my kids, and I was like, oh, those two dudes are partying. Those guys, they were sitting, their house looked like a party. There were two dudes that were, they were using Halloween to their advantage as adult men. You know what I mean? We're going to use this as a chance to sit on the porch and drink beer and pass out candy. I think Dable would be that kind of guy.
Andy Reid?
I think Andy might turn the lights out. Hot take. I think Andy Reid might turn the lights out. I don't know. There's just something about it that makes me feel like I'm going to zag and say Andy Reid might be a lights out guy.
Maybe he's a bull on the porch guy.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think he might be a bull on the porch guy. You're right.
Jeff Fisher.
Oh, Jeff's a lot of fun. He's 10 out of 10, having a good time. He's another guy that would be partying on the porch.
All right, last two. Dan Campbell.
Yeah, Dan Campbell.
And I know you're saying that, and you appreciate it. You want to formulate something.
I love Dan Campbell. I'm a big Dan Campbell fan. I don't know why people hate Dan Campbell. I mean, I know the Lions aren't winning a lot of games right now, but they've been hate. There's some people that hated Dan Campbell from the minute he got hired. I'm not really sure. What do you think Dan's like?
I think Dan might be giving out maybe beef jerky.
Yeah. Beef jerky. That's a great call. He's giving out beef jerky.
And then we got Sean McVay, and we might do, it just occurred to me, I didn't put him down, but Sean McVay, and I have Mike McDaniel too, just occurred to me would be a fun.
Oh, Mike McDaniel would be great. Mike McDaniel's definitely like a starburst guy, I feel like. McVay, I don't know. I don't know what McVay would do. What do you think?
Nuts. like
Almond like, Joy?
Yeah, no, something kind of, guys, this is kind of healthy for you.
Yeah. He's all strangely jacked.
Be safe out there.
Yeah, he's definitely a health guy.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be a trainer at a nice gym, you know?
Showing up at the door with one of those tight, like long sleeve t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like, like the Under Armour. Look at the costume.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. High energy. That's good. McVay.
The show's over. We did 35 minutes here. I asked for 15.